Hi. So now we'll talk about the second part of the good game, which is the adult, the world of the adults, right? Uh, so what we are now realizing is that our lives are changing at a more repetitive basis, in more cyclical manners. It's no longer the same life for the rest of your life. You would have different careers. Sometimes you will change core relationships. You will change as a person a lot. There's a lot of information coming your way, so your data sets will keep increasing, etc. So all of that kind of requires you to be a certain kind of human. Just like a child needs to be curious, I think an adult, by default, to be a successful adult human, needs to be determined. And that's one of the core qualities of a successful human, right? And only difference between animals and humans is we are conscious, so we can create our own life with, in some sense of awareness, vis-a-vis animals who don't who can't do that, right? We have the mental faculties for it. Now, the difference between earlier and now is the fact that earlier we had careers which were corporate or entrepreneurs or the shopkeeper, right, the dukandar or the traders. Now it will essentially be somebody who is independent versus somebody who works for somebody as a structural whatever, right? And either you will very early on decide that you want to be independent and you'll be an entrepreneur in your 20s, even earlier possibly, or you will kind of hit it at every decade of your life. So in your 20s you'll try, 30s you'll try, 40s you'll try, and you'll different ideas basis whatever catches your fancy, and there might be a time where your career ends and you become an entrepreneur full time. But because we will live longer, we will live till, I mean, our average age will get to 70, 75, if not longer. So there would be a need to keep working because we will not go into the classic retirements like our parents. So what would it take to keep a human determined outside of life, right? We have not been taught a lot of life skills. We have not been taught emotions. We have not been taught how to deal with death. We've not been taught how to deal with loss of relationships, divorces, loss of money, loss of career, loss of reputation, loss of families, friends. All of this will happen to all of us. We're all humans. It's part of the human experience. But nobody has taught us how to work with this, right? So I think what will happen is we'll start having these entrepreneur labs or founder labs of sorts, or residency programs where these people who are trying to build anything out of wherever they are, and there doesn't have to be any story attached to it. You know, you don't have to come from anywhere. You don't have to have a certain background in terms of this school, this college, this was my childhood. Nothing like that. At whatever point in your life you decide, okay, I want to do this, there'll be a residency program where you could possibly go in with certain sensibilities that you have, and the sensibility of yours matches theirs, and the attempt would be that we all hold each other. We all hold each other accountable, and we keep each other intact and determine people. Determination of a human requires very little. It requires somebody to believe in you, somebody to support you, somebody to talk to you, and for you to stay honest and vulnerable through all the trials that life kind of throws at you. So this is that, and I'm pretty sure that nowhere here am I saying that you need to be a unicorn, you need to be successful, you need to be profitable. You will be all of that if you're a determined human by default, and then you will fail again, and then you will build again, and you keep working, right? Your work is an expression of who you are as a person at the end of the day. And the other part, which is the children who are now in a different kind of pedagogy, will maybe enter the system in a cyclical manner 10 years down the road. So it's all like a circle, right? Which is the circle of life, essentially. So the adult needs to stay determined. To keep them determined, we need a collaborative residency entrepreneurial programs where there's more of a sensibility match, where you're trying to keep the human intact at all times, despite all the stuff that life throws at you. And you would stop attaching meaning to all the stuff that happens to you. You will stop hiding. You will stop having two lives. You will not have public and private personas. You'll be one person at all times. You will just learn to be authentic. Authenticity will have a massive value in the age of information. So would your taste and your sensibility. So all you can be is yourself, and for you to be yourself, you'll have to drop your guards, and that's not the easiest thing. It requires you to have a different kind of training. It requires you to maybe understand performance arts, and maybe understand what dramatics is, what improv is. These are not things that are taught in school, but you will have to learn to express yourself in a different form, through your body, through your word, through your art, through your the other stuff that you do outside of work, and outside of family and the core structures that we come from. And this exploration of being a better human is what life would all be. Because what is life ultimately? So ultimately, the child at 7 and the adult at 70, and between 7 and 70, you live a life, and many things happen to you, but you stay curious on one side and determined on the other. So this is the second part, and we will next talk about the technological shift and what that would do to all of us, and how exciting that possibly would be, right? So yeah.